Hello there, guys. It is me, Chase, and I'm back in my truck. Um, kind of just getting outside a little bit. No, I'm not going to leave my truck because we are supposed to be wearing face masks here in San Antonio as we go out, which I'm not seeing anybody that I'm driving by wearing any. I haven't seen a single person wearing a face mask. But I'm not in one of the shopping areas, so I'm sure if I go there, I'm going to see a lot of them. But anyways, I'm just trying my best to peacefully protest these things. It's obviously, I believe it's not that I believe, it actually is unconstitutional for the government to require you to behave in these ways and do these things. It's not part of our constitution. It's not part of. There's no government authority that grants any of this. But I digress on that point. I wanted to talk mostly about the fallout of all the coronavirus stuff that's been happening. Now, from the beginning, I'm gonna try my best here not to do a "I told you so" kind of thing. I do my best not to do that. Honestly, I don't like to do that. It's not a cool thing to do. So I'm gonna try my best. But I make no guarantees because I am sinful and inconsistent with principles, as we all are. Anyways, I in the beginning of all of this, when this was all beginning, I was just suspicious. I just and I got a lot of friends who just gave me a lot of flack and called me a conspiracy theorist for asking a lot of these questions and going, what? There's something not right here. Something's not adding up. Um, and I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. Um, I'm gonna be totally honest with you that I'm sorry. Something I saw on the road here just kind of caught my attention a little bit. But be perfectly honest with you. Because I want to be honest. I don't want to hide anything. I genuinely, one of the main reasons I was not willing to jump on the panic bandwagon, DEFCON 1, shut everything down bandwagon. One of the reasons is because I absolutely believe in the American system, that the original American system, not the one we're living in right now, but the way this country was originally put together. If you want to go, buddy, you can go. Uh, but the way this country was originally put together, the original principles of the Constitution and basic liberties of man and these kinds of things like that, I just I believe in them. They've never failed us. Why would they fail us now? Why would this a capitalistic system in which we live fail us now? It's always been successful. Now, a capitalist society is only successful insofar as its people are good and moral people, in which case requires good religion, which is Christianity, um, to do that. It's kind of dry right now in San Antonio too, um, so you need a moral and religious people, a people regenerated by the gospel, more specifically. But anyways, without that, obviously capitalism is going to deteriorate into corporate monopoly kind of immoral societies where the rich they do get richer off the backs of the poor, and that's not a good thing. And those things have happened, but they haven't happened as a result purely upon capitalism. They happen as a result of a demoralizing society that exploits the weaknesses that capitalism has without a good and moral people. That's really important. That's extremely important to understand. Um, but I believe in that system that were originally, because our founders were religious people. So I believe in that system, absolutely. And so the idea that we were going to do things all of a sudden that just completely just took all of that, those at least 2 centuries of proving a system right just goes down the drain in a matter of weeks. I'm like, that no. There's something wrong with this. I just didn't believe it. And so yeah, I'm admitting to you that based on just dogmatic presuppositions, you could say, I wasn't willing to just throw everything out and just completely abandon everything I always believed and everything I was always taught to believe growing up. I stuck with those convictions. Now, sometimes that is a good thing, and sometimes it's a foolish thing. And obviously, that could have been a foolish thing. But I'm beginning to see those convictions being redeemed. I'm starting to see it. I mean, honestly, just it's coming almost day by day, week by week. You're learning new things that just, I think, if you're willing to look for it, confirm everything. And I know a lot of people say, well, Chase, you're not watching the CDC stuff like that. I know I'm not paying much attention to the CDC stuff, but that's based on my convictions that I believe in. That I just don't trust massive government-funded forces, especially when they're being used by people I already don't trust. Um, when they're being used in unanimity by people I don't trust. And again, used in such a fashion to contradict a world system or system of government, of entrepreneurship, allowing the private sector to flourish, that kind of stuff, against that conviction of mine. I just got suspicious. I'm admitting to you right now, that was my presupposition. That's why I denied certain things and accepted other things. I am being totally, completely open with you about that. And I think we should all do that. Okay, I'm doing something on presuppositions myself. I'm writing something on that, and I'm being consistent with all of what I believe about that. But and like I said, that can be a good thing, and that can be a really, really bad thing. I'm I'm learning. I'm seeing that conviction being redeemed, honestly, because there is data coming out that confirms a lot of my suspicions. So, um, and again, I've called a conspiracy theorist by friends of mine, people who are conservative like me, who I agree with, and agree with me on many things, and suddenly, acting as if I'm just suddenly jumping on conspiracy theories, and I'm like, you act like I'm new to this kind of stuff. I've questioned media narratives for a long time now. I've always questioned these things. Like I said, I haven't changed anything. I've been totally, completely consistent with myself and everything I believe. Some of you guys are going to have to ask yourselves, maybe you're the one who's being inconsistent now. um, but okay, I'm starting to see some face masks now because I'm actually, in a shopping center, which is almost dead. There's almost nobody around. I mean, this place is always lit up. Well, I mean, obviously there's school, but school's shut down for the rest of the year. But anyways, yes, I'm seeing the face masks now pretty much everywhere. But people who are just taking a walk in the neighborhood, I'm not seeing any. Anyways, I digress. So, what are some of the things that are being confirmed? We just learned that our first coronavirus death, for example, um, that happened. Um, that actually happened in February. Our autopsy reveals that our first coronavirus death in the United States was in California, and it happened in February. That confirms something I was saying in the beginning. I almost said two things at once. Um, but something I was saying from the beginning, I'm willing to bet, because I started thinking about this stuff. I bet this thing has been here much, much uh, um, sooner than we started cracking down on it. And one of the reasons, one of my rationales for that was, I got sick. I got really sick. Not really, really sick, but I got pretty sick when earlier in March, like early March, I got sick. Before things started shutting down, I got sick. Now that's saying something because I think I caught the flu of some kind. I haven't had the flu in years. I can't remember the last time I had a flu. I've never worried about flu shots ever, anything like that. I have a pretty good immune system. Like, man, this place is just dead. There's nobody here. You gotta see this. Check this out. This is a shopping center here in San Antonio. I've never seen this parking lot at this time of day like this. Look at that. Wow. Um, but I got sick. I got pretty sick. Looks like this J.C. Penney is just temporarily closed. They have the gate down too. They don't just have the doors closed with the gates down. So I got pretty sick. Now before I got sick, um, friends from church, a couple friends from church, they got really sick. They had to go to the hospital sick. It was bad. Here's the interesting thing, and you can confirm this with them. I mean, these I'm not making this up. Their kids, typically get sick too, just like them. And they normally get sick after these two couple, they get sick. Their kids, nothing. They didn't get sick at all. They were perfectly fine. And we were all sitting. This is before we started going on coronavirus, but this is before all of this. We were talking in church, and I was like, wow, and your kids didn't get it? They're like, no, they were fine. I am willing to bet, because there's good theories right now about herd immunity, things like that. Kids getting not kids being asymptomatic for the most part. Not all of them are, but for the most part, asymptomatic. I'm willing to bet these kids had it, and they were asymptomatic. Um, and there's the theories now going around that the best way to fight this thing is a herd immunity. That's the best way to fight it, not being locked up in your homes. Herd immunity is the way you fight this thing, and that means going about your normal routines and things like that. I think that hypothesis deserves further exploration, especially when you consider the fact that almost all the models that we began with to shut everything down have been proven not just kind of false, demonstrably false. I mean, absolutely way out in left field. I mean, they were predicting something like 200,000 deaths here in America. We're probably just going to hit somewhere around 60,000 tops. 200,000, millions of people dying. I mean, that number has had to been reduced dramatically by experts. This is like predicting, massive snowfall here in the central South, and you just kind of getting rain and cold weather instead. That's kind of like what this is. It's like, wow, they were off quite a bit. But as always, you continue to trust your meteorologists. That's a little bit different, but still, that's what's been happening here. All of these expert models and things like that have been shown to be just out there, and they've had to be. They just the other day, once again, they've dropped the numbers yet again. Everything that I have been thinking, I'm trying not to do the I told you so, but almost everything that I have been speculating, because I didn't have any evidence for this. I admit I had no evidence for this. I didn't really know where to go. We weren't really going to find evidence for this until we actually started digging into the questions that needed to be asked, and people started doing that. But everything that I've been thinking has been confirmed and confirmed and confirmed again and again, and the patterns are being shown, guys. That the patterns are starting. We're beginning to realize that. Let's go back to the first coronavirus death that's confirmed, at least. How many more autopsies are we going to do in the future? How many more are we going to do that are going to prove to us, dude, that wasn't even the first guy? I mean, wow, this goes back into December. I really think this thing's been here since December. I think I had something of this thing, this wave of coronavirus. I think I had it. Honestly, I think I did. I didn't get severely sick. I guess that has something to do with me having a better immune system than most people, by all blessings of God. So maybe that might be it. But I'm willing to bet, and then that would mean, based on the things that I've been postulating and been reading about, I may have an immunity to this thing now, just like pretty much with coronavirus in general, and these kinds of pandemics. The human body typically, after it recovers from something like this, typically will produce an antibody or immunity, to it. So I'm willing to bet that I have it, and I'm willing to bet. I bet you most of the people who go into the stores with those face masks and all the stuff, all the precautions, they've got it too. They've got the immunity as well. I bet they do, and they're wearing those face masks for nothing. This is assuming we actually know how this thing spreads, and I don't even think we actually know how it spreads. We don't even know really that yet, to be honest with you. There's just so little that we know, and what we do know, what we're beginning to see, it's kind of like trying to think about, an analogy here. Our scientific method is based on empiricism. It's supposed to be based on empiricism. That is to say, based on the evidence that you're finding, you develop your hypotheses, right? That's basically kind of it. Based on what the evidence is showing you. The evidence is continuing and continuing and continuing to show us, primarily, that this thing has been here long before we started shutting everything down. And it has been wreaking havoc on this country well before we started shutting things down. Well before that. And so basically what we've done, if you want to really put things in a nutshell, is the equivalent of you getting into a head-on collision with somebody or something. And then after the head-on collision, after you smash your face into your steering wheel, maybe even your windshield, whatever, then your airbag deploys. After that is when the safety measures deploy. That's basically what's been happening. This thing has been ravaging this country for, months and months and months. And it's only after its massive impact has already hit. It's already in here. It's not. There's nothing you can do about it. It's after that we started shutting everything down. After probably a good chunk of the population has already developed an immunity to it because they've already been sick. Everybody thought they just caught the flu. And then I discovered a little while ago too. I want to make sure I mention this before I forget this. But I discovered a little while ago that Dr. Fauci himself wrote an article, I think somewhere on March 20th. So this was a while ago. And I might have to post it up to really summarize it, but because it says it better than I do. But better than I would. But he said basically that if we are to assume that about the numbers of asymptomatic people who have it and people who are showing just minor symptoms and things like that, and then add that to the people who have clear symptoms of it. In other words, we can't truly know how many people have this thing because, first of all, not everybody, people don't want to go to the hospital and find out. And then there are people walking around who have it and going, I'm fine, I don't feel bad at all. And people who just thought they had the flu and just like that, and so they never actually went to go see if they had the thing or not. So that's a statistic. That's you're not marking things like that. And so there's all these variables to basically say you can't. There's just no way we can truly, unless we tested the entire population, we can truly know about this thing, its true impact. There's no way we can really know. So he's making these assumptions. If we are to assume, to count into the assumption with the very symptomatic, the asymptomatic, and the sort of symptomatic people, if we're to assume all of those people into the factors of those who are clearly symptomatic with it and have it and confirmed to have it, then the death rate would have to drop even further. It would have to go down even farther. And Fauci concludes, he says this in the article. I write it myself, and again, I might post it up here. That what we are seeing is a very abnormal flu season, which is exactly what I was saying pretty much from the beginning. I don't want to say exactly from day one because everybody was sort of like didn't know what was going on for a while, but it's pretty much what I was saying right from the beginning. As I started taking in the basic information. Okay, cold and flu, it's kind of like that. That's basically what a coronavirus is, I guess. Kind of like that, Okay, what's the death rate like? Okay, well, let's compare this thing to other illnesses and even other flus and stuff like that. And it's not even anywhere near that. And I'm putting all this together, and I'm like, okay, so basically what we have, you're telling me this is a new strand of coronavirus, and that's why it's kind of throwing us off a little bit here. So then what you're telling me then is what we have is a new strand of coronavirus that is therefore throwing us a curveball. And when it throws you a curveball, you're going to have some bumps, in the stats. And please don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that the people who have suffered immensely and who have died of this thing, that all they are is a bump. I'm not saying that. I'm not doing the Barack Obama thing. That's not what I mean. Um, I mean simply that it's it's kind of messed with the ordinary means of just kind of the way things are. It's kind of messed with things a bit. It's throwing you a curveball. That's what it is. Um, so that's what's so I'm like that's basically what we have here. That's what's happening. And lo and behold, Dr. Fauci himself confirms that very thing. And I'm like, there you go. That's all this is. It's not saying that the people again. It's not minimizing the suffering of those people who have got the butt end of this thing, who have unfortunately been very symptomatic. I mean, I've seen stories of people who just couldn't even breathe. I mean, just it's horrible. It's horrific, and I feel for them. Pray for those kinds of people. This doesn't minimize that. This isn't saying that they are hoaxers and that they are faking it. It's not saying that at all. It's not. It's not being unsymptomatic towards people who, towards the nurses or anything like that. It's not. It's none of that. No one who like myself who have been saying things like that. Our concern is like what I've been saying, suspicion about this thing. I've been suspicious about it from day one. I'm like, first of all, who's giving us this information? And they've proven themselves that we should be suspicious of them in the first place. Okay, so and then what are they asking us to do? You know, what are these people who we should already be suspicious of asking us to do? And they're asking us to basically forfeit basic human freedoms and forfeit our normal lives of, making money and going to work and things like that, and just letting the government taking care of you and things like that. I'm like, okay, this is getting weird, and all those kinds of things. And I'm just like, dude, something's wrong here. And and then when we start to actually look into, all the stuff that's been confirmed, you go, dude, this is, you know, and again, you're just putting it all together. Putting it all together uh, is just a recipe for, don't freak out. There's nothing to freak out about with this. People, you gotta take precautions. Obviously, I'm not saying don't take precautions, but don't completely melt down the system to save lives. Because ultimately, what you end up doing, and what we are going to end up doing, I think, honestly, I think it's too late at this point. We're going to end up doing, I mean, I'm driving through shopping centers and seeing, there's a dead snake there. Wow. Through shopping centers, and I'm seeing just emptiness. Not just kind of like slow because it's a school day, it's Thursday right now, it's the afternoon of Thursday, whatever. No, these are just shut down, completely shut down. There's no I mean, I never thought I would actually miss this. I would actually miss this. I remember coming here and I seeing just the flourishing of materialism in our society and how it's destroying our society. Um, and now I'm just kind of wish there was a lot of people here, and there's almost nobody here. And there really is there's nobody but like people who like I guess are managers and stuff like that. I think that's the only people who are here, and maintenance workers. Probably it. It's probably all that's here. Oh, this place is a ghost town. Uh, they don't even let people into some of these areas. They got them fenced off and stuff like that. I'm just kind of driving through them. I'm not, like I said, I'm not getting out of my truck. Just driving through them. That's it. Oh, I can go through here though. It's incredible. Look at this. You guys. I just want you to see this. Just check this out. I hope that the light's adjusting to this really well. This normally has these sidewalks. This is a shopping center. These sidewalks normally are um, just full of people, just constant, especially on the weekends. Um, Full of people. Look at all of this and the economic damage of every second of these streets being empty. I mean, this for every second that these streets are empty is economic damage to our country. It is. Um, and somebody, she's walking her dog, but and she doesn't have a face mask on, so I mean, I don't know. I don't really know what to think about that. Like, should I risk it? You know, because I want to go outside and take a walk, but I don't know. I don't want to be uh, just deliberately defiant. You know. Anyways, so now we're coming out with now there's UN sources, and again, I think this is a good source to use for all the people who are panickers because you guys are all about trust all the big guys, all the the experts who are in the big organizations of that because they're the experts, and they're why are they the experts? Well, because they're in the big organizations. And if and we know that if they're in the big organizations, the only reason they'd ever be there is because they're honest people who are honest about helping society and all these things like that. They're never trying to orchestrate government takeovers or anything like that. Never. They've never tried to do that before. I'm being sarcastic, but let's use those sources. The UN, there's a UN source now, United Nations, predicting biblical proportions, quote unquote, of worldwide poverty as a result of our response to this thing. Not a result of the coronavirus, but a response to the coronavirus, shutting everything down. Um, Worldwide poverty. How many people are going to die from that? Think about that one. How many people are going to die from that? Um, I mean, and the difference between the predictions on that one and the predictions on this coronavirus death is we actually have historical data to back that up. There's actually history that proves the collapse of an economy is typically devastating on the society. Very much so. I mean, you can look at the Depression itself. How many people died in the Depression because of the Depression, the Great Depression? Poverty leading to desperation, leading to starvation, which leads to further, desperation. People beginning to kill each other for things and stuff like that. I mean, just lawlessness reigning supreme. Just completely depravity of society. You're gonna have that happen, and I think that is gonna happen, in some degree. Um, so we have, so let's sum everything up here. What we have done is we have responded way late, way too late, to be honest with you, to a virus that has been here already, ravaging us already, and we've probably already developed an immunity to, as a majority of the society already, ravaging us already. Um, in other words, we've shut everything down just to top off everything. In other words, top off all the bad stuff. We just to put the icing on the cake. We shut the entire economy down, and then later on, when we realized, whoops, we were a little late. Oh well, there's your unemployment. 24 million people unemployed. Probably going to be more than that before this is all over. And voila, there you go. And then what's going to happen? Again, I'm just saying, history shows these things. Government's going to come in and they're going to pretend like this wasn't on them. That, like they're going to act like they didn't cause people to panic and shut everything down. They're going to go, well, look at we're in a severe economic depression and things like that. It's time to do something about it, acting as if they had nothing to do with the reason why we were in that situation in the first place. That's what's going to happen. I really believe that's what's going to happen. Okay? And people, because this is just human nature, too many people are going to forget along with the government. That's how the government is able to do things, guys. They profit off of your ignorance. They profit off of you forgetting things. I was just reading in the Bible today. I mean, I was reading I just got done with Joshua and I'm in Judges. And in the beginning of Judges, what begins Israel's downfall. They forgot the Lord who brought their forefathers out of slavery, out of Egypt. They forgot him. These were generations who were not really connected. They were only connected in genealogy, but not directly to their forefathers who suffered and sacrificed and gave much and were built up as men as a result. They don't know those people. As a result, they really aren't connected to them. And they forgot their heritage. And what happens? Israel starts to come undone. Um, Israel begins Judges well in good standing, inquiring of the Lord. That's how Judges begins. How does Judges end? Everyone went doing, what seemed right in their own mind. That's how it ended. I mean, that's a crappy ending. That's where it went, though. And that's where we're headed. That is the great blight of mankind, other than our sinfulness. But it is our sinfulness that gives rise to that. It's our sinfulness that causes us to forget, to really commit the sin of idolatry, of forgetting. Really, honestly, it's kind of what it is when you think about it. That's our great sin, is we forget our Lord. We forget Him. We constantly fall off and off and off and off. And these are the things that happen. So, and I believe that's what's going to happen again. I really, unfortunately, at this point, guys, I don't say these things with joy and just looking forward to the freaking apocalypse or anything like that. I don't. I'm not one of those premillennial people. I love my premillennial brothers, but I'm not a premillennialist. I'm not a dispensationalist. I'm not looking for the apocalypse of John to start just suddenly boom happening right before my eyes. I'm not looking for any of that kind of stuff. I'm not looking for the prophecies of Daniel to continue and be further proved and whatever, to be fully proven, true, whatever. I'm not looking for any of that kind of stuff. But I am saying that as history shows us the things that I've been telling you here, what it also shows us is the unfortunate reality that the only way out is through mass suffering, mass violence, and bloodshed. That's what's going to happen. I can't recall. I mean, there's a few minor examples, but they're so rare. And given where we are right now in society, I'm not sure that's going to happen. It's going to take the shedding of blood, persecution, serious persecution, and a lot of people are going to die to reset the balance. That's how the balance is reset, unfortunately. That's what it's going to take, I think. So, again, just to kind of recap, pretty much everything I was suspicious about, I was speculating about, has basically been coming true. That we are and I think we're honestly towards the end. I mean, it's starting to warm up, especially here in the South. There really is no reason for us in the South to be being locked in our doors and everything. I mean, it's getting really warm here. And like, if this is a coronavirus, and it is, right? It's not going to do well in warm weathers. So there's no need to have this massive shutdown. Most people just, again, it's the spirit of the age stuff. Most people are more religious than they like to think they are. It's just that their high priest isn't Jesus. Their high priest is Fauci and the scientists. Those are their high priests. And the high priests say, and we do. We do what our overlords tell us. And that's just the way it is. I mean, I have a friend who, early on, before all the shutdown started, and I was saying, hey, you can't just be asking people not to go to work. I have to go to work. and she justified her view on this whole thing about shutting down and staying home and stuff like that. She was, and from what I've seen some of her recent posts, she's starting to go, uh, can we really keep doing this though? And again, I'm just kind of sitting there, and I see so many friends starting to suddenly go, hey, you know what? Maybe we haven't thought this whole thing through. And I'm going, yeah, that crazy guy you called a conspiracy theorist? Oh, suddenly he's starting to make sense now. You're not going to give him any credit, though. You're just going to like act like I came up with this all on my own. It's the sad reality of it. But she told me, you know, that she is a critical thinker, and she justified her critical thinking based on the fact that she's in college. And I'm like, that doesn't make you a critical thinker. uh, no, that doesn't make you a critical thinker. Is very that's a what we call a logic, a non sequitur. That doesn't result from you know you know what I mean. So or you could also call it how do they say it in Latin? The ergo proctor hoc fallacy, the proctor hoc fallacy. The therefore this because of this, therefore this because of that fallacy. The idea that because of this, therefore that, which is not conclusive. It could be a lot of different reasons for this and that. So, anyways, and I bet you college doesn't teach you that. On regularly, it doesn't normally teach you that. I learned that on my own. So, um, but that's what it is. It's just so many people. You just believe things based on what your culture and your current socio, uh, uh, your current society really uh, says. And anybody who questions those narratives, you just automatically go to conspiracy theorist. You want people to die, and all this kind of stuff like that. Blah 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 blah. And seriously, you'd have to ask the question: who's the one who's not really thinking right now? Who's the one who's not thinking things through? uh, I think it's you guys, because I've never called this a hoax. I've never said this is a conspiracy theory, anything like that. Everything that I have been saying is probably the truth, has been continually been proven, and I think it's going to continue to be proven true. Um, I don't know what to tell you after that. So, yep. And it's like I said, damage is done. It's too late now. We've screwed ourselves over now. We're going to have to suffer the economic consequences of all of this. Um, what do you do? So I guess this is just an unofficial finding the balance episode, you could say. It's just me driving around in my truck. I just don't want to be at home right now. So, Solo Deo Glory, guys. God bless. I'll talk to you later. Bye.